Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another review.
Today we'll be covering the most recent action thriller, John Wick Chapter 2.
He's more better than ever.
He's more badasser.
He's an animal.
He will eat you alive.
He's my dad.
He will kill you with a pencil.
Twice.
And it's awesome. This is our review for John Wick Chapter 2.
Stay tuned.
Hey guys, welcome back to another one of our movie reviews. This is Steven, I'm Matthew, and welcome back to our review for John Wick Chapter 2. The movie stars Keanu Reeves as John Wick, of course, and it is the sequel to John Wick, the first movie. And the movie is a continuation of the John Wick series and franchise, and this time around we follow John Wick as he is just about to go into retirement of being a hitman.
Right.
But of course one of his comrades from his clan from several years ago, he actually comes to see John Wick and actually basically forces him back into doing one more hitman job before he can finally go into retirement. And from there on out, guys, this movie is just an action-packed 2-hour thrill ride of just kills and a nice score, great cinematography. Everything about this movie is really good.
It's crazy. So Matthew, what are some things that you like about this movie?
Well, for me, I am a huge John Wick 1 chapter fan.
Mm-hmm.
John Wick 1 chapter fan.
Okay.
I'm a huge John Wick fan. I'm sorry about that. I love the first movie. I love Keanu Reeves. I love his movies like The Matrix. I enjoyed Speed. I enjoyed other of his movies. But John Wick and Speed in particular have always clicked with me because I felt like he was at his best in these movies. But that's just my opinion. This movie is directed by Chad Stileski. He also directed the first John Wick, and these movies, like he does, are actually really good because these actually are some of his first films he's ever made. And I gotta say, for an action director, he is doing a fantastic job. Like seriously, guys, I cannot talk enough about how the action scenes are so well done in this movie.
Yeah.
Like from the car chase scenes to the hand-to-hand combat to the gun fu you see in the movie.
Yeah.
Everything is just seamless and there is no shaky cam whatsoever.
No shaky.
Everything is just fluid. You can see everything perfectly on the screen and you can just see everything, and it's beautifully made, guys.
That's one of the reasons why it's better than Taken. Because Taken, it has a lot of zoomed in, really shaky cam.
At least the second. At least the second and third one did.
Yeah,
the second and third one did.
And that is good. That really puts you in the mood, but it can get a little annoying sometimes. But this movie was just very smooth, and you could see everything so clearly, and it was just so organic.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome.
Shaky cams nowadays. I don't know who came up with that idea of a shaky cam, but there is very small pieces of shaky cam within John Wick 2, but they're very, very subtle and for the most part, 99% of the time, you can see everything perfectly clear. It's right there in front of you. Everything is far zoomed out. You can see everything. There's no close-ups. It's all just perfectly well made, guys. And if you're a big fan of action movies, you guys are going to love John Wick Chapter 2.
Definitely. So, guys, at the beginning of the movie, it just starts out with jam-packed action. We have John Wick chasing one of the bad guys he's after.
Yeah, one of the gang members of this warehouse.
And they end up hitting a warehouse, and they just go at it, and John Wick just takes on this whole little squad by himself as usual, and just throughout the whole movie, it's not boring at all. It's just filled with some crazy action. I've never seen these kills before.
No,
these are all organic, original kills.
Yeah, and a lot of people might not they don't really go to the John Wick movies for a story. Not everyone does. Some people do. I personally think the stories of the movies are actually okay. They're not completely forgettable, but at the same time, a majority of us do go for the action, and the action is really well done. But this story in particular, I did have some problems with, and we will get to in a little bit. But just know that the action pieces within the movie are well done. Like I said, everything from the car chase scenes to gun fu, everything is just seamless in its own way. And you have to commend Chad Stileski, the actor, or not the actor, the director. Sorry.
Yeah.
However you pronounce his last name, but this guy, he knows how to do action. I wish he could do more franchises like this because he knows what he's doing.
Definitely. He's really, really good. He knows how to make a perfect action scene.
Yeah.
And it's almost realistic because, like I mentioned earlier, you got the zoomed in shots, and a lot of times they zoom in like that and make it shaky cam to cover up that they're not great fighters.
Right.
You know? Yeah. But he does zoomed out, and these guys actually know how to fight and make a good scene.
It's just annoying, like, you know, with the Taken franchise and like other. It's not just the Taken movies, but there's other movies like this as well. You have like Tom Cruise, you have like Liam Neeson, you have Keanu Reeves, like all these great action heroes that they know how to do this. They know their craft and they're well invested into it. But yet for some reason the director chooses to just like cut so many times, and it's just like why? You know, you have like these actors who are capable of doing this, but yet for some reason they just cover it up, and it's like annoying. You know, I don't like it. I don't know why people like that. But anyway. Let's get into some of the negatives that we have with John Wick 2.
So, Matt, what are some things that you did not like about this movie?
Well, I have two major problems with John Wick, but even then, these are kind of minute. But let me get into them. First one is about the main villain of the movie, and I had kind of a main problem with the first one as well. Like, the villains in this movie are kind of, like, lackluster, because, like, they don't really, like, show any good characteristics, and they are not that interesting. I mean, yes, they serve as like what they're supposed to, a villain for like John Wick to kill. I get it, but I think even Common, the guy who plays one of the villains in this movie, I think even he played a better villain than the main villain, because like I felt like Common actually was able to physically challenge John Wick in the movie. Like he was able to like judge John Wick's moves. He was able to like, you know, cut back. He was able to do all this stuff. And of course, you know, you have the main villain who most of the time just sits in his chair. He just sits in his chair and like strokes his cat or whatever. And it's just, I'm sorry, guys, but I just think that Common did a better job. I'm not saying that the main villain wasn't.
It's kind of like how they had in the first one, though, right?
Yeah.
That same type of villain too.
I'm not saying that the main villain wasn't like convincing. He was. He did a good job, but he just wasn't interesting. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he did great. He's just one of those like cliche villain. Like you go do the dirty work for me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like I mean, like. Again, Common, he was so good because, like, he was able to challenge him, maybe not mentally, but physically. Yeah. Like, he was able to predict John Wick's moves and everything, and, like, that's why I was on my seat whenever they were fighting, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so my second problem I have with John Wick Chapter 2 actually lies within the first one as well. Well, not really, but, like, what I'm saying is, like, John Wick 2 had kind of not as good emotions as the first one. And what I mean by that is, like, in the first movie, spoilers for anyone who has not seen the first movie, in the first one, John Wick had good motivation for coming back out of retirement because, like, his wife was dying, of course, and she gave him a puppy, and this puppy was supposed to be, like, serving as, like, a way to, like, kind of, like, cope with his depression and keep him happy, right? Well, then, you know, these gang leaders come in, kill his puppy, trash his house, and, of course, steal his car, and, of course, he's pissed off and he's mad, so he wants to get back into the action and actually kill people and get revenge. That makes sense. In John Wick Chapter 2, while, again, this is not a huge problem, I just feel like it's not as good motivation. In John Wick Chapter 2, we have the guy who was part of, like, his clan and basically forces him back into retirement, and John Wick has, like, no choice. He has to do it because, like, he gave, like, an oath to it. He, like, you know, he agreed to doing this, so... of course, the gang leader promised him that if he finished it, he would be no longer required to work and he could go back into retirement. I'm like, okay. So, again, it's very small problems, but, like, those are, like, basically the only problems I have with John Wick 2. I just feel like the motivation this time around wasn't as convincing as the first one, even though I still kind of understand why they did it, but, like, it's just not as convincing this time around.
I think I'm going to piggyback with you on the villains.
Motivation.
The villains.
The villains, okay.
Yeah. Like I said, the villains weren't. The villains were really good in this one. I liked them. They were good. Yeah. Just not as good as the first one.
Let's just put it this way: like, they're convincing, but they're just not interesting. How about that? Like, you know, that's how I feel. Like, they did a good job at doing what they were doing. They were there to serve as, like, a person for John Wick to go after it. That's what a villain is supposed to do. But at the same time, I just feel like compared to, like, other movie villains, they were not interesting or, like, high above them. You know, they didn't really try anything new, if that makes sense. But other than that, guys, that's all the problems I have with John Wick Chapter 2. I really like the film.
Very minor problems.
Okay, so, Stephen, did you... So, I mean, obviously this movie was just released to the public, right? Just on February 10th. Of course, there were some screenings for, like, earlier days, but... I mean, people are already talking about the idea of a third movie being made, and of course, like, the third movie actually is in development. Yeah. So... after this movie was just released, and of course the movie leaves on a cliffhanger, how do you feel about the idea of a third movie being made?
I'm actually pretty excited for a third movie. Just because, like, I mean, people were kind of like, well, see how I phrase this. I don't think John Wick, this series, is going to end up like Taken series. I think the Taken series, they just kind of, like, kept doing it and overdid it.
Yeah.
But coming out with
yeah.
John Wick, the second one,
Yeah.
it was even better than the first one. You don't see that a whole lot, you know? So why not make a third one? They got a cliffhanger. I say make a third one, and we'll see what happens. The first two, they were so good. Might as well just make a third one, and I'm pretty excited for it.
Well, oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay. I have to agree with you. I mean, like, the Taken series, I hate to say, I know we keep referencing the Taken series in this movie. There's a review, I'm sorry. But, for anyone who likes the Taken series, I love the Taken series.
I do too.
It's just, like,
I love it.
We love them, but we just have problems with them, of course.
Yeah.
And believe me, when I say I love Liam Neeson, that guy is awesome. But I have to agree with you. You know, I actually am really excited for a third movie. I really think that, like, this is a franchise that they can keep building upon. And, you know, what I say by that is, like, the first one could have probably ended without a sequel happening. But at the same time, when I heard that the sequel was being made for John Wick, I was, like, really excited. Mm-hmm. And now the third movie is actually already in the works. I'm like, yes, this is going to be good. I'm actually, for once, not, like, tired of a franchise coming out with sequels, you know. Mm-hmm. It rarely ever happens, like, where I just, like, see, like, another movie being made, I'm just like, ugh.
It's like, oh, crap.
You know, it's just like, this series needs to end. Like, that's what you're like, this series needs to end. It should have ended after, like, the second or third one, you know.
Yeah.
But basically what I'm getting at here's that if they do make a third one, which they are, I will be excited for it. And I think they can do a really good job making it. But at the same time, I think what they should do is probably end after the third one. Because it would make sense for the third one to be the last one. Because think about it. Again, this is all spoiler territory. So if you guys don't want to know, just don't watch the video. Of course, the second one leaves on a cliffhanger where John Wick, of course, is running off camera. And, like, the gang lord or whatever calls him out. And there's, like, a bounty for him, right? Mm-hmm. To kill or capture John Wick. Yeah. And, of course, the movie leaves on a cliffhanger. And you're just like, oh, this is going to be good. You know, the third movie is going to probably have even more action because, like, the amount of gang lords and people that are probably going to come after him for his bounty on his head. Yeah. So, if they can end this movie, like, on him killing all the bounty hunters, everyone who wants to kill him, and maybe just finally leaving off on a peaceful note, that I could actually commend for, because it would be a satisfying ending, you know? Yeah. So, a third movie, I'm good for, but hopefully they don't make too many more after the third one, so... Mm-hmm. But that's just how I feel. Either way, I'm really pumped for a third one, and... Yeah, the series is going well, and I think John Wick and Keanu Reeves, they did a good job making this. Everyone who made the production for this movie is doing a good job. Definitely. So for this movie overall, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because of the great finish with the story. Well, continuation, rather. The acting and the fight scenes, all the action, John Wick himself. This movie was a success. Yeah. How about you, sir? Well, for me, like I said, like overall, John Wick 2... takes everything about John Wick 1 and builds upon it. It makes it better, in my opinion. And at this point, it's even harder for me to say which one I like more, the first or second one. But overall, I think John Wick 2... Yeah, John Wick 2 is a great sequel. For anyone who is a big fan of John Wick 1, I implore you guys to go see this one. Don't miss out on a theater showing for this. Go watch it right now. It's definitely worth your time and your money. And overall, guys, with the very few problems I have with John Wick Chapter 2, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this review. Go check the movie out, and be sure to leave this video a like, comment, and also subscribe to support this channel. It means a whole lot, guys, and the support, we can get all the support we need. And that's it. We'll see you guys later.